Hi, my name is Kendall Carlson, and I'm excited to discuss the Nolli Map with you guys this evening. Before I begin, I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But I guess just to jump right in, the Nolli Map is a map of the city of Rome. It features about 8 square miles. Pope Benedetto the 14th commissioned the creation of the map, and Giambattista Nolli created the map. He was an architect and surveyor living in Rome at the time, and he spent 12 years surveying the city of Rome before finally publishing what is now known as the Nolli Map in 1748. The Nolli Map is not only a work of art, but is also one of the most accurate, detailed, and influential maps of its time. It is one of the most important documents that we have of the internal city of Rome. The city of Rome is an urban museum filled with exhibits, as depicted in the Nolli Map. It is the ultimate guide and highlights the very best features of Rome. And that's kind of an important concept I'm going to keep coming back to during my presentation, is that the intention behind the Nolli Map was to depict the best of Rome. And with that depiction, some parts of history have been lost, and some aspects of everyday life in Rome are portrayed entirely different. But anyways, I'll move on before I get a little too off track. So the Piante Grande, or the Grand Plan of Rome, is commonly referred to as the Nolli Map. The Nolli Map captures the city of Rome as it was in 1748. The city of Rome is a dense city with seemingly unified buildings and streets at odd angles. So this is kind of important to consider, since the architect and surveyor at the time was surveying the city in the 1700s, and the amount of detail and accuracy he depicted in this map is honestly quite incredible, considering how dense Rome is. But the Nolli Map captures the internal city at the height of its cultural achievement. So that's depicted in the left-hand and right-hand drawings. The original plan of the Piance Grande was engraved by Giambattista Nolli on 12 copper plates that are currently stored in the calligraphy in Rome. Sets of 12 prints were produced from each plate, each measuring 16.5 feet by 27.5 feet. The set of 12 prints can be assembled into the Piante Grande itself, measuring 66 by 81 inches. Along with this large map, Nolli also published a smaller version of this map. This version of the map was reduced to the size of one of the 12 prints. The original plan of the Piante Grande was to produce well-known surveying techniques of his time. Nolli measured distances using chains and angles and orientations using a compass. Nolli took his time to measure and triangulate everything with exceptional accuracy. The Nolli map uses precise architectural scale and is oriented towards the magnetic north. This was actually new for the time, as previous maps were actually oriented east. So this is quite a technological achievement. Nolli makes the city uniform according to a simple black-white graphic convention. His ability to depict private and public space, solid and void, has become known as figure ground plan. Nolli believed in the importance of distinguishing both the buildings and the space between the buildings, solid and void spaces. With this technique, buildings are hatched in gray and spaces rendered in white. The white renderings of the map present all public and semi-public spaces in the city, whereas hatched areas indicate lesser-known buildings. The map shows surviving ancient structures in black, with reconstructions of missing parts in white. The dotted lines along select streets also indicate the borders of the city. Nolli provided a unique glimpse by emphasizing the public space throughout the city. He believed in the significance of rendering both interior and exterior social spaces, interior spaces that included public dimensions such as entrances, stairways, courtyards, churches, theaters, and the like are depicted in great detail. The Piante Grande details urban areas, non-urban areas, municipal infrastructure, and illustrative cartographic symbols. Both public and private urban areas are illustrated in the Ponce Grande. Excuse me. Non-urban areas are depicted in the Ponce Grande, including the grasslands, woods, rivers, quarries, and plantations. Among these non-urban areas, Nolli actually went as far to depict types of crops grown in the fields during this time, which I found very interesting. Municipal infrastructure included in the Pianta Grande are limited to aqueducts, bridges, drains, and fountains. Various illustrative cartographic symbols and annotations are integrated in the Pianta Grande as well. There is artists detailing ancient Rome on the bottom left and right-hand corners of the map as well. It's kind of just the battle between ancient and modern day Rome that you can see. So just to kind of move forward and describe some other items that were produced in relation to the Nolli map. Lateroli produced 3 volumes of Edifices di Rome Moderne in 2 volumes under the title Le Vatican e la Basque de Saint-Pierre. His publications comprised a monumental record of architectural engravings with a collection of over 600 folio plates and nearly 3,000 engravings. Lateroli used Nolli's map as a cartographic base into which he layered detailed building plans of various features Nolli depicted in his map. Lateroli used Nolli's map to unveil a greater detail of urban context within the city of Rome. The interactive Nolli Map website is also another item produced in relation to the Nolli Map. This interactive Nolli Map was produced with a high resolution digital copy of the original map, and that's actually what we're looking at right now. Nolli's original engravings were carefully preserved during the production of this interactive Nolli Map. However, the original seams between the 12 plates in the original Pianta Grande were eliminated in the interactive Nolli Map. The interactive Nolli Map offers a variety of navigational tools that allow the user to pan in any direction and zoom from macro scale of the city to the micro scale of any building. The user can also use the search and link functions to precisely locate one of the 1,320 featured indexes by Nolli. When clicking on any given structure, the user is linked to a database that includes information such as historical commentary, Lateroli's graphics, photographs, and more. So I'll just go ahead and kind of go through the interactive map. So here are some details that you can see close up of ancient Rome depicted on the left and modern day Rome depicted on the right. You can also see that Benedetto the 14th commissioned the piece, and he kind of has his name written in the center of that left-hand image, or I guess on the right-hand corner of the left-hand image. And then, so here are some layers that you can set. You can use the interactive Nolli map to just show public buildings in the red, private buildings in the red, just landscape, and even fountains all over the city of Rome. So pretty great if you're looking for the Trevi Fountain. Here's some satellite imagery, just to kind of show how accurate Nolli's depictions were. And then, so I am not done right now, so I'll actually go back to the beginning. So the Nolli Map was commissioned by Pope Benedetto the 14th in 1736. Pope Benedetto the 14th asked Giambattista Nolli, an Italian architect and surveyor, to detail an accurate map of Rome. The Piazza Grande was published by Giambattista Nolli in 1748 after 12 years of meticulous creation. The network of people involved in the commission of the Nolli Map were heavily influenced by Pope Benedetto the 14th and the Catholic Church. The Pope Benedetto the 14th's intention was to showcase the city of Rome to the world. The Nolli Map presents the city of Rome as an urban museum filled with priceless artifacts and impressive monuments. Pope Benedetto the 14th largely wished to change the image of Rome and portray the city as a stable of progress and achievement. The Nolli Map became a promotion of Rome's cultural achievements to an international audience. The map was designed to encourage tourism and attract affluent aristocrats, nobles, and scholars. The city of Rome is very much experienced through the streets, courtyards, buildings, and other public spaces depicted in the map. And just to continue with my transition, so while the features of Rome are enhanced within this map, there are also some features that were conveniently left out. So I just kind of wanted to get into that. The housing and commercial areas of Rome are denoted in the Nolli Map. The published copy of Nolli's plans abandons most of his property data to render Rome as a strong graphic presence. The architectural history of Rome has a complete itinerary of buildings with names and histories. These buildings are part of architectural history simply because they are well documented. There's information describing when these buildings were constructed and who constructed and inhabited them. Unfortunately, when you visit the city of Rome, you'll observe many houses that are not named, and have no architectural history. There is no documentation informing us who built these houses and when they were built. The inhabitants of these houses thought they were unworthy of public record, and thus a part of history had been lost. During the making of every map, the map maker encompasses a time when they must choose what to depict and what to exclude. How Nolli chose to represent the city of Rome is crucial to our understanding of Rome today. The architecture of the housing in urban areas when it was intentionally erased from history. The architecture was not depicted, and that is the reason that the history is lost to this day. The intentionality to not depict the plans is the reason we will never know. The city of Rome is a collection of designed places and spaces. The Nolli Map was designed with the intention to communicate specific information about the city of Rome. The images and drawings of the past are never neutral, and there is also history that was intentionally lost during the creation of the Nolli Map. So with this great map, it's also important to think about the intentionality behind it and what can't be recovered. It's also kind of interesting to think about how the Nolli Map still kind of influences our opinions on Rome today. at least I know it sounds like an incredible city that I would love to visit. I mean, a city that has, thousands of features. It's just like it's a walking museum. Who wouldn't want to go to the city of Rome? But it's very interesting to kind of hear about what was lost during the creation and kind of the mindset behind the creation of the map. So I just would like to leave you with that to ponder today, and I hope you have a great night. Anyways, good night. Thank you.